the thing about humans is we laugh. No other species laughs. The hyena, it's bullshit. It's not really laughing, but we laugh, and what do we laugh at most? Ourselves.
Dystopia Tonight. Dystopia Tonight.
He's an American guitar legend and musical director for the Conan O'Brien Show. Hear untold stories from Jimmy and his musical guests. The Green Room with Jimmy Vivino.
What's going on, man?
I'm in your green room, actually.
That's true.
The green room had a lot of course, it's not about money. We know that.
Right.
It's not money. It's more about marijuana than anything. No, a green room, for anyone that doesn't know, is classically where they hold guests before a talk show.
Yeah.
In the green, and so my producers came up with that name, and we originally were being sponsored by Weed and Whiskey TV, which was wonderful because I got all kinds of free illegal shit through the mail.
Yeah. Which is where you want all your illegal shit to come through.
Yeah, it was a great idea, and I was very resistant at first. I don't know if you guys came up with your idea or somebody said, "Hey, you guys ought to have a show," and you said, "What for, man? There's so many shows." So my take was always, "Oh man, all my friends are doing this," and they said, "Yeah, but your friends aren't you." And that's right. And I know that every one of us that with any kind of personality at all can do this. As long as you don't think it's any different than sitting around, like I said to you before, in a bar with two other guys or got a couple of girls or whatever anyone wants to call himself today, because I want to be totally inclusive.
We will cancel you on air.
Lawyer sitting next to me, by the way.
Yeah. He just tugs on your beard. He's like, "Don't say that. Redact it."
Don't say that. You can say that, but don't say them. Say them, they.
Yeah.
Whatever. Don't say he, she, her. Say them, they, or whoever.
You better get it all right, man.
Fuck,
Yeah.
Because we're all us,
Yes.
Yes.
I like to stick with the generalization of like, I like you, I don't like you. That way I just don't have to talk to somebody. You're like, hey, this is it. This is the rules.
That's right. And those opinions aren't usually formed on the things that people think we have a problem with.
Yeah.
They're really formed on your fucking personality.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
There's no fixing that usually.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, and the thing about the green room thing too, man, it's a brilliant idea. Like we started Dystopia. I felt the same way because everybody had a podcast and I was traveling, doing the road and, working across the country. I was like, I really don't need to have one. Like I like going on other people's podcasts. I didn't want to actually start my own. And then as soon as I couldn't go on the road, I was like, I'm going to start a fucking podcast because I want to talk to friends.
I haven't been. I'm in New York now. I'm 77th Street at a hotel. And we just did this great big benefit for God's Love We Deliver, and we gave half the proceeds to the Ukraine. Half of the money we made, and we're still making money on it, and still going over there. But I hadn't seen so many people for a long time. Their faces actually. We've seen each other like this for a long time. So we kind of got together like this, and somebody said, looking at your intro, said, I just feel like Godzilla's going to come out of the East River and just start stomping us, man.
Right?
That's
exactly.
Bizarre. The world we're living in is, and all of a sudden not only is COVID gone, it took a war to put it out of the news because they were running out of shit to write,
Yeah,
what happened to
absolutely.
Fauci? Disappeared. Where is he? What's he doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
isn't that fucking crazy?
It's funny. It became a news. Everything that drives the news, they will milk it till the end.
100%. Yeah, and it's really kind of sickening.
That if people are giving towards a war effort, they're going to be giving for quite a while, because you look at the damage, it looks like Dresden in the 40s, man.
Yeah, man. Isn't that crazy? It's really fucked up. And the other thing too is like, I mean, I was just watching the news. I don't even know why I fucking bothered to do it at this point, but I was watching it before we came on, and they still hype up the potential. They seem more excited for a World War III than they are about avoiding one. Because they can just, I want to be like, you guys know if it actually hits, you'll have nowhere to report this and no one to report it to, right?
I think Don King will be promoting it soon, and that, you know, it's that kind of a thing. It's that kind of a thing that it just, you know, I remember way back, and you guys are probably too young, when CNN, and there was no Fox News yet, and it was just CNN, and I think it was in I don't know, late 80s or 90, whenever the first Gulf War happened, and I was playing a club downtown New York City, and the war came on, you know, and everybody left. Everybody went to the bar to watch the war. I said, that's it. It's over for music and entertainment. This is the new format. And did they ever latch a hold of that, you know? And there's so much information. But the good thing about it is that people with their phones are finally doing something where, you know, when stuff happened in wars, it had to go through the government before we would see any footage.
Yeah.
And now it goes up right away. People with their phones are reporting the truth, you know.
That's the benefit of the social. That's when I love social media, when it's at its best, when it cuts through the fucking bullshit and you can finally see what's real and what's not.
Yeah, you got to be careful, because there's no filter now from truth. Where it used to be like, oh, we used to get these fake Vietnam death things, you know, 5 soldiers were killed today when 5,000 were killed.
Yeah.
Know? And
how do you feel about that though? Are you able to balance it out in your own head, like finding out, like, because sometimes I feel like it's too much truth. It's too much shit that you walk around with.
It's Jack Nicholson and a few good men. You can't handle the truth, because we really can't, you know. That's why they sugarcoated for so long. But anyway, things are getting better, and we can get more positive now, hopefully. You know, I did go over to London to work at Abbey Road with Ken Scott, who was the Beatle engineer on Abbey Road.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
And also
that's so cool.
Hunky Dory, and he also did Ziggy Stardust, and he did Elton John records, and he's just a storied engineer. And we were doing a thing for a company called Pure Mix, where Rich Pagano, the drummer with Fab Four, and myself were brought over to work with Ken Scott. They brought the old boards in that the Beatles used. We were in that studio for a week.
Oh my God!
I said, this is the apocalypse. This is it. After I do this for a week, shit's, you know. And then the war came after that, and I said, maybe I shouldn't.
God was like, you know what? Jimmy Vivino's got a point. We're gonna mark down war.
It's my fault, because I was in Abbey Road for a week, and I went to every piano that's on the last chord in A Day in the Life, which is boom, you know. And I just went to each piano and had a ball. I found them through pictures of them doing that. I mean, I was just doing the nerdiest shit you can imagine.
I would do the same.
Oh yeah, you know. So I really felt like that. There was like my whole life had just culminated into this moment, you know. And
did you?
And then I got home, and I think I got COVID.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah, because
how you feeling?
I had 2 weeks before I had to go on a Joe Bonamassa's Keeping the Blues Alive cruise.
Okay.
Home for 2 weeks, and I just felt shitty, man.
Yeah.
And finally, Friday, before I had to leave Sunday for Miami to go to Jamaica, I on the boat, I called my doctor and I said, I got to have a quick rapid test. Can you do it for me today? He said, sure, $150. I said, really? Okay. I went over there and I tested positive. And I said, shit. I called my management. I called my friend Albert Castillo, who's a great blues guitar player. He lives in Miami. I said, Albert, you gotta cover me, I think, on this cruise. And so Rennie, you guys have been talking to him. My manager said, go to this place in Burbank behind the Ramada Inn by the airport. They got a PCR test that they'll send out, and you'll find out tomorrow if you're really sick. Just don't believe the rapid test. Another $150.
Ooh, holy shit.
6 hours later, and the next day I hear that I'm negative. So
Wow.
Okay. And then I get to Miami and I'm negative again. But I think I had it for 2 weeks. So I think the herd thing is not untrue, that we all need to get it in some way. believe me, I'm triple vaxxed and double fucked.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
Wait a minute, you got to get fucked? I didn't get that deal. I only got the 3 vax. I didn't get fucked. What nurse did you see?
Why do we feel so entitled when we do the right thing and we think everything's going to be okay?
Yeah,
you know?
man, I know.
But it's a crapshoot, man.
I mean,
Nobody really knows.
It probably kept you out of the hospital at the very least.
Yeah, well, I'm okay. Yeah, because the second, variant was easier to deal with, and I think it's going to be something like in 1918 when the Spanish flu came, and they finally got a vaccine for it that we, by the way, take every year still.
Yeah.
Still. All right. So that's over 100 years we've been taking those vaccines.
Right.
This is going to be another thing that we take or don't take. We either suffer the consequences or we take the vaccine. Because if you don't take the influenza vaccine, you're probably going to catch the flu.
Right.
Yeah. And that's going to be the same with this thing. So
I mean, that's what happened to me. I mean, I didn't get flu shots for the longest time, and not for any particular reason. I didn't have any I wasn't spooked by it. I was just lazy, and I didn't get the flu shot. And one year when it was getting around really bad, I was doing a gig in Michigan, and I fucking got the worst flu I've ever had in my entire life. I wound up in the hospital out in Michigan. It was fun. I thought I was taking that shitty, what's the shit they give you for the flu that makes you sicker? I was like, I really wish I just
give you the flu. They give you the they shoot the shit that's killing you into you.
Oh God, it was brutal.
It's and that's the technical term, but there's another term.
Yeah, there's whatever. I like that better though. I like that a lot better.
Yeah. Anyway, so how enough. We're just catching up on life here, but what else do you want to talk?
No. Well, now I'm curious. Did you see the Beatles documentary?
You know what I call it?
What?
Get back to work. No, it's wonderful. It's for us. It's for people in the business. It's for songwriters. It's for people that it's a really great look into how a bunch of geniuses can procrastinate forever and get nothing done, and then when it comes down to the wire, all this brilliant shit starts coming out,
Yeah, man.
George and Ringo were talking, and Paul's like, just play and let it be like he's creating it there,
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, it's just, there it is, and you don't get that kind of, that fly on the wall view of much. I would prefer if it was during Revolver, or Pepper or the White Album.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's great because it also, to me, there's retribution. I saw the original Get Back when it came out. Yeah, Michael, I always say it's Dennis Eaton Hogg. I always think it's the guy from Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Because it just is it's really a mean-spirited look at what was going on.
Right.
None of the joy that you see in Get Back is there.
Yeah.
And they ended like on a really sour note, the whole thing,
Oh,
But
I know.
Peter Jackson did a great job. After all, he is used to producing and directing some of the best fantasy movies.
Yeah.
And knows about a story arc. And knows about magic.
Yeah, exactly. And you can
so
tell he did it with
magic in there, and it's good that it starts really slow and you go, man, is this ever going to come together?
I know.
No pun intended. But
there was definitely one point because my mom got me into the Beatles when I was a kid. She's a huge Beatles fan. We go to see Paul McCartney like every year when he's touring or whatever. But there was literally one part I remember watching one of the episodes and Paul's trying to figure out the lyric to one of the songs we all know. It was like he's basically sitting there, he's like, let it. And my mom at one point was just like, be goddamn it, let it be. How do you not know that? Like, I was like, yeah.
Because there's a famous story about yesterday that it was scrambled eggs. That's what it was. It really was. And it's gibberish. But you see that the thing missing later, any Beatles solo album is 1/4 as good as the worst Beatle album. So
good way to put it.
No, seriously, I think, in my opinion, the four of them together is a force. There's stuff that John wrote and George wrote and that Ringo recorded. Yeah. And that, even though he didn't write so much, the choices and that Paul, of course, that needed the ear and the opinion of his brothers, you know,
Yeah.
because John said, Monkberry Moon Delight, you got to change that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
hilarious.
can't be sitting in the attic with a piano up your nose. You can't, you've got to say, you see, when Paul would get these gibberish lyrics, and after John was gone, he'd just leave them there, you know?
Yep.
And John, the same thing. Paul would say, you got to have a better middle eight than that. You can't just leave the song where you're doing that, and that was collaboration is as much creation as anything.
Absolutely. And that was the cool thing to see, because you really got, like, I loved seeing Paul lean into the music and getting everything. Like, it was crazy to see how meticulous he was for what he'd heard in his head and what he wanted to hear out of everybody in the group. That was, I could see why the pressure was
on his own. He was pretty much left on his own to lead the charge.
Yeah.
A healthier John. We're seeing John at not his worst point, but at a pretty bad point.
Right.
And there's moments of brilliance that make you think, oh God, I wish I saw him before all the drug use started,
Yeah.
But even so, he's sharper than anyone in the room in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And Paul was really just like, come on, let's trying to rally them together.
Yeah.
And George really was interested in other things. And it's funny when you see a song like All Things Must Pass get passed up.
Right.
As that's great, George, but does anyone have anything good? That sort of attitude. and they give it like one shot where they're trying to sound like the band.
Yeah.
Right? Like something from Big Pink. Because everybody in England was affected by Big Pink, to the point where Eric Clapton doubted that Cream was doing anything right, and he wanted to get this sort of thing. The band it wasn't called Americana then; it was just the band.
Right.
And Elton John then comes out with Tumbleweed Connection, his tribute, to the Brown album,
right?
The band's album. So the band were doing to the Beatles what the Beatles did to every other band before them. And George really had it down. All Things Must Pass was sounding really good, I thought.
Yeah.
And if they recorded it, it would have been just fantastic.
They really did. I mean, it was weird because I understood, like, I didn't know too much about that whole period with George. Like, I didn't realize he kind of threw a tantrum and walked out. Like, I don't know. Not that they put him in a bad light, but I didn't realize he was that hard up on everybody in that band. But then there were times where I felt like they were kind of antagonistic towards him. So
He baby brother. Don't forget.
Yeah.
He had these two, there's a famous story that somebody who was working with the Wilburys told me, and I don't remember who told me, but they were in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob Dylan said to George, well, I never had to be in a band. So when I wrote my songs, I sang them. I decided if they were good, I recorded them. I had total control. You were in a band with 3 really great songwriters and great singers. And he said, how did you decide what songs? And George said, we all knew John was better. I'm seriously said that. Because he was the big brother. There was a respect and an admiration. Paul was the middle child, right?
Yep.
That was, I got it. How about this?
Really.
And then trying to pass it by John. It's psychology 101.
Right.
His approval meant so much. And now Paul wasn't even getting it, because John was sort of half there.
Yeah.
And Paul was writing some brilliant stuff at that time.
Yeah.
And then John would throw something together like Don't Let Me Down that would just slay you,
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's blues. That is so heart-wrenching,
Yeah.
And he was able to always have that element of tearing your heart out, where Paul rarely did. When Paul did do that, he could do that. The Long and Winding Road does that.
Yes.
It's
absolutely. It's a beautiful song.
Beautiful song.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
And even Hey Jude did. John loved it. So and that's that period. They were only really making records for 7 years, and it's amazing. It takes a band 7 years to put out their second record.
I know, it's crazy too. And the other thing I liked about it, and you could definitely speak on this more than I even can, because you've been in this way longer than I have, but I loved seeing what actually happened in that footage that they had, and then them reading in the press how the press spun it, because that's their whole history is other people kind of trying to take over that story. And they didn't fucking live it. You know,
Is that the fake news?
No, I know exactly what I was just gonna say. It's the funniest thing to me because it's the one true thing. You know, I mean, again, you know, it's just one of those things that like I think we all experience because we've all had interviews before. We've all been written up in the press, and you're like, I didn't go to fucking that college, you know. I mean, or whatever they twist up around. But I love that they were sitting in there reading about it, and they were like, oh, apparently we got into a fist fight. Should we do it now? Like apparently,
well,
you know.
I mean, sure, but you know, like the truth is always more boring than a lie, you know.
Right, right.
Yes.
And the fact is that, you know, like Mark Twain built his whole career on bullshitting, you know,
Right.
so, and just making shit up, you know.
Right.
My dear friend Mac Rebenek, Dr. John, who's gone now, he was the best bullshitter I knew, and we would sit around and just wait for some bullshit story that would just make us, you know. And you know, and that it's like there's a thing called qualified bullshit,
right?
Know? Yeah, that's the beauty. That becomes an art form,
like telling people recycling works.
Well, sure.
you know, because it makes you feel good. It doesn't know, you know, the government's not really actually recycling anything. I think about 10% of what we recycle actually gets recycled since we've started, but the rest of it just goes into a garbage dump. But it makes us feel.
No one out there can honestly say to me, "I always separate my shit."
Right,
you know?
right, exactly, exactly.
And if you don't, do you think there's some person at the dump saying, "Oh, here's a foil.
Yeah,
this doesn't go in here."
Exactly. Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
So then we get the shit that they recycle and they turn into something else, and it sucks.
Yeah.
You know. All of a sudden, you know, you try to take the tab off of a can of soda or something, it breaks.
Oh yeah. I love that everybody thought they were being heroes when Starbucks decided to do away with straws, but they did the sippy cup lid, and I was like, you fucking morons! Lids make up more of the trash in the ocean than the straws do. It's just a
and
switch.
you're drinking through that, you know, you're drinking through that recycled plastic that has other shit in it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone was like, "Good job, me."
Who decided that for hot stuff that you know, or even like an alcoholic drink that a paper straw was better?
Oh God,
they're saving the turtles.
I am ingesting so much paper. You know, they used to tell you not to eat it in kindergarten and shit, but I'm just like drinking through this paper straw. Like, what the fuck?
Well, you know, I really have a theory that the problem. One of the problems with the world is that we stopped eating white paste, you know, because wasn't that the most delicious thing when you were a kid, that white paste?
Oh, man.
That we used to eat.
You tell me you guys stopped?
Play-doh, like, you know, it never paid off. The taste was salty and crappy, but the smell of a new kind of Play-Doh, I think that hooked us
Play-Doh.
all on. That first drug was Play-Doh.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you open the can.
And you smell it? Oh my God. I can still smell it. Is that bad?
Well, it's probably some byproduct, you know, Play-Doh.
Yeah.
It's probably some, you know, byproduct of some bio, you know, some
Do you ever do the thing where you would pour the glue on your hand and then peel it back so you'd have like a hand glue thing?
Oh, sure.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want some fucking glue, man. This is I gotta get out of here.
Well, you know, I mean, there's so much that we did that they said was bad for us. I don't know, man, that a Twinkie's gonna kill you, you know?
Dude, if there's any, that's one of those things, man, where like I mean, you know, knock on wood, he's in you know, he's in a bit of a nursing home. My dad is 74 years old and has done everything under the fucking sun, including eat himself to a ridiculous weight, you know, whatever it is, and then slim back down. Nothing. He got COVID too. He's got 18 stents in his heart. He's been smoking since he was 9. He bulldozes through fucking everything. I don't know.
Was he in the damn war?
He was in. He got out of the war. He went AWOL twice, and the second time he conned the guys out of like.
He's like a hippie guy.
Yeah, a bit of a con. Yeah, something like that. He's Italian. That's all I can say.
Lived through smog and ingesting shit and just breathing the air in those days was supposed to be bad. You know, I think it's random. You know, you hear about people, you know, working out like crazy and they're in great shape and then they get a heart attack running. So,
right. Yeah.
You know, it's not why we think it's up to us after all these years. Whether you believe in something else, you know, you don't have to. thinking that it's up to you is as ridiculous as thinking it's up to God whether you live.
Wasn't there a dude who was like 106 or something like that, and they asked him what he ate, and it was boxed wine and pizza?
Yeah.
And they were just like, and everyone's like, oh shit, all right, I guess that works.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of theories that sickness is in you from when you're born, and it's all bullshit. We don't know.
Your health is different than my health, and Tom's health is up to his wife. And that's
I say, listen, whatever you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
We've been asking people, what's your go-to on the road junk food?
To me, I've got it so narrowed down to specific cities.
Really? Oh, I love that, man.
Yeah. So if I'm in Chicago, I gotta get some Al's beef, or Portillo's, or I gotta get Lou Malnati's, deep Lou Malnati's,
Yeah.
If I'm in New Mexico, I got to get some blue corn tortillas, that kind of stuff. If I'm in Philadelphia, I need Jim's or Pat's or some other great cheesesteak. I need some butterscotch crimpets.
Right.
And I need to go over to the White House in Atlantic City.
Yep, the
sub sandwich.
Subs.
Which they misnomer hoagie in Philly for some reason.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
If I'm in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, pizza.
Oh yeah.
Each one has its own special thing.
Yeah, man.
Pizza. If there's hot dogs in places, Boston has the Pearl Dog. Long Branch, New Jersey has the Windmill.
That's where my gig was. Yeah, the Windmill's great.
Yeah, you're not far from there, Tom's River. There's two. There's one in Long Branch, and there's one original one. And there's one in Red Bank, the original one, the Windmill, actual Windmill.
Yeah.
If you're in Florida, Cuban sandwich. If you're Miami,
All right.
Texas,
love a good Cuban.
Yeah. I mean, I don't consider it junk food so much as like ribs and ribs. Now that you could just talk about ribs in every southern state.
Yeah.
And have an argument about that. But yeah, there's certain things that are in certain areas. Tony Paco's in they got the Polish sausage in Toledo, Ohio.
Ooh.
And now these food channels, Man versus Food, all that great shit.
Yeah.
And that crazy Guy Fieri guy, I love him.
Oh my God, he's great.
He's a guy. He's for real. That's him. I've seen him in an airport. He has a mini-me son dressed exactly like him. With the spiked hair and the chains and the glasses. It's fucking unbelievable. But we learn a lot about, that's where we learn about regional places to go to.
Yeah.
There's a place in Minneapolis that cooks the cheese inside the hamburger,
Oh, that's the best. One of my best friends does that shit when we go on vacation, when all my friends go out together, and he makes these fucking burgers we all look forward to. Just shoves them full of cheese, man. All the best seasoning in the top. Oh my God, they're so fucking good. You can literally feel your heart stopping as you're eating them, but you don't stop.
Well, I use it as an analogy too that I think is true. What's the best burger? I'll ask you quickly. I'm asking you. What's the best burger in your opinion?
Bacon cheeseburger.
No, but who makes it?
Who makes it? Oh
yeah,
man.
Where do you go and get the greatest hamburger? Where have you been and said this is the greatest hamburger?
There's a place by me called Big Barlow's Barbecue, makes the best fucking. It's all fresh.
Okay, you hear that, guys? Send money. Okay, so you've answered to me what, in your opinion, is the best hamburger for you?
Yeah.
Now, answer to me. What's the best? Not the best, but what is the most popular hamburger in the country?
Oh, McDonald's.
Yeah, gotta be McDonald's.
I equate music to that. When people ask me, what's the best music? I say the blues.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, what's the most popular music? I said, well, anything that's not the blues.
That's great.
But it's like that, we forget when we're artists,
Yeah.
We forget that just because we do something or we think it's great or like it doesn't mean the masses are going to even connect with it. And then we get bitter about how come they're not getting this. Well, because they're pedestrian and they want people want what makes them comfort. It's a comfort. We're talking about comfort food.
Yeah.
You go if you eat McDonald's, man, that's not even a hamburger. That's a McDonald's. That's another flavor that you might be in the mood for, man.
Right.
And you'll eat and you'll love it, and then a half hour later you'll regret it.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that there's nothing wrong with that, except they just refuse to accept that that's what they are. Like, it's the same when like people get angry about going to see stand up, and it's like, well, I'm sorry you're not at home watching the fucking Big Bang Theory, but if that's your like, you're not going to see that in a club. So go watch that, and then don't go see stand up or learn to adjust.
But true art,
in stand up, I have to say, some of my best friends are. So
love hearing it.
And we thought, really a lot of my friends, as you know, you've seen some of them talk to me. I've known them I've been very close to comedy all my life. Yeah. Starting with my brother Floyd, who's just
I've worked with him so many times, by the way, from when I was younger to literally like a couple years ago, we did a radio. We just wound up at the same radio station doing a gig together, promoting shit. And we hadn't seen each other in forever. He's a great guy.
And he was a throwback, like a really crazy guy,
Yeah.
And but I know that, and we talk about the state of comedy now, and and I think Chappelle has sort of the reins, that Eddie Murphy had, and that Richard Pryor had, and that Lenny Bruce had, and that George Carlin certainly had.
Yep.
And it's an important thing to not back down so much about what you say, and to say hey, wait a minute now, you're out of hand because this is comedy. Nobody's safe. Nobody should be safe.
Right.
From we're lampooning our existence as human beings. Okay.
Yeah.
These are flaws and things we point out that make us laugh, that actually bring us closer together. If you start splitting that, into taking comedy personally is crazy.
Absolutely.
You buy a ticket and you're sitting in the audience. I'm going to watch you do stand up, and I got my arms folded waiting. I can't wait till he says something that can offend me. Supposed to be there to fucking laugh.
Yeah.
And nothing. And the thing about humans is we laugh. No other species laughs. The hyena, it's bullshit. It's not really laughing. But we laugh, and what do we laugh at most? Ourselves.
Yeah.
We do. So when you recognize something somebody says that might seem cruel, you might say, that's what we are. That's what people do.
Exactly.
It's
and comedy is always meant to be inclusive, not exclusive. If you're being made fun of, you're part of the fucking troupe. You're part of the world.
It's fair game.
Exactly.
You don't have to be insensitive and say deliberately say cruel things.
Right. But that's the thing. Like
my other friends who are comedians say, "Hey, if you don't like my act, leave. You can get up and walk out of the club."
Yep.
And we all don't have to voice. We all don't have to get our backs up about everything and post.
No, I know.
Unfortunately, everybody has that old saying: the world is, that assholes' opinions are assholes, and everybody's got one.
Yeah. You know what I think it is too? I think a lot of it came down to like people saw what it was, what quote unquote activism or what public pressure could do to certain politicians. Like think of it this way. Satirical comedy, stuff that Chappelle has said out loud or whatever, that's caused, people to look a different way at a topic. Same thing with Jon Stewart, same thing even Conan does that kind of stuff or whatever. But like when you see comedy kind of bringing subjects to light that matter to people, I think that's when it took a weird turn. You know what I mean? Where they were like, oh, we could use this and market it as a weapon. And then when it wasn't going their way, because comedy's not supposed to be used like that all the time, then they were like, oh, we need to get this guy to shut up.
The demise of Richard Nixon, was the beginning of the end, because it was all of a sudden, oh, if we don't like something, let's just tear it down. Because there used to be sort of, I don't know if it's a good ethic or a bad ethic, but there was sort of a given that, okay, we don't talk about that, but he got caught. All right. Mm-hmm. Nixon wasn't the only one. If John Kennedy was in office today, he wouldn't last a week,
Absolutely. I know.
And Lincoln wouldn't have won an election because of his looks, and the way Ross Perot was laughed at, laughed off the stage. No one heard what he was saying, So, and Lincoln would have been in the same situation against Stephen Douglas. It would have been, look at this guy. He's way too tall and skinny. His clothes don't fit. His beard, he's got a mole over here. He looks like he hasn't slept for a week. He's got a high squeaky voice, by the way.
I literally hate when people
Americans. It was breaking, So I mean, and then the advent of the writer's strike. You remember the writer's strike?
Oh my God, of course.
Yeah, sure. So what happened? All the geniuses at these networks said, "Fuck the writers. We don't need the writers. All we need is real people, reality TV." That's why we're stuck with the Kardashians.
Yep.
And that's why we got stuck with a president who was a bad actor, and I'm talking about Ronald Reagan, by the way. Before that, I only said when I was a kid and Reagan got into office, I said, why not Gregory Peck? Why not Robert Mitchum? Why Ronald Reagan? Anyway.
Yeah, of course.
But all of a sudden, why do the Kardashians and I mean Kanye has talent, so I can't put him in there with that.
I know.
Yeah.
He has talent as an artist, but shut the fuck up. I don't care what else you have to say.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Take your fucking meds.
And everybody and Sean Penn, I love your art, guys. I really do. But I don't want your political opinions.
Right.
And I don't want I mean, it's funny because it used to be about talent and now it's just about if you put something up long enough and enough times and you bombard people with Instagram stars, we're so stupid. We are living in the idiocracy. Did you see the movie?
I always hit my friends and I say that all the time. I love that movie. That's 100% what we're living in. The only bad part is you can't get a hand job at Starbucks for $5 like in Idiocracy. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, where's that part? When does that come in?
Imagine Dice Clay coming out now. What the fuck would happen?
I know.
Right?
I thought he was funny. I thought Kinnison was funny.
Oh, Kinnison was fucking amazing.
Yeah, but today, I was in the audience and he yelled and I'm traumatized. I'm suing him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love it. I'm like, comedians don't pass legislation, so just shut the fuck up. Go away. Like, that's the thing. You're supposed to go down. You're going down into a dark basement for an hour to escape reality. Let it happen. Just let it wash over you.
Well, I mean, some people will always be offended, but you can't. We all are learning to be more sensitive about what we say and who we say it to. But sometimes in performing, I mean, there's songs that were written, old blues songs that I love that I got to re-examine sometimes. Somebody will say, you ought to say that,
Right.
I said, well, I qualified. This was written by Son House or Robert Johnson, in the 30s. And this was the way the world was.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make believe that I'm going to change a word because, that's actually the way the world was. And it's kind of a history lesson.
The Stones...
So when we try to rewrite history and cancel shit, it's just as bad as rewriting art,
Yep.
Or say, hey, you know what? That Michelangelo, that paint, put a fig leaf over that,
Right.
We can't
Didn't the Stones just have to cancel a song that they had sung forever or something like that? They recently... Brown sugar. That's
by the way, it's a comment on slavery. It's not a positive comment on slavery.
No, yeah.
The fact that it existed, we need to know that.
Exactly.
We need to believe it didn't happen. And but I can't say which songs offend who.
I know.
And I say all I say is this, people, and you're listening. If you don't like it, don't listen to it.
Yeah.
If you don't like the comedian, walk out of the club. If you don't like the food, get up and leave or send it back.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it's your choice. But we don't all have to know about it.
No.
If you didn't like a hamburger, you don't have to get on social media and tear the place apart.
Right.
People are trying to stay in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do ask for your money back.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, don't send it back. It's coming back with spit in it. I don't send back. I'm going somewhere else after. That's it.
No, you don't send it back. No. But I don't know. there's so much and yes, I'm older now, so I say what I feel like.
Sure.
You know, I know from a fact from growing up and from the people I've worked with that, you know, I've never had me or the people that I'm sorry, this thing is moving. People I've worked with, you know, of every race, creed, and color or whatever you want to say, have never had a problem working together as artists.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
and the people that have the problem most of the time aren't even the people that they feel are being prosecuted. It's persecuted. Right?
Yeah, persecuted.
It's people who just want to play police to everything going on in the world.
Yeah,
You know?
it's kind of like when you're at a funeral, right? And like you're at your own grandparents' funeral, and you and all the direct relatives are laughing because you find humor to be cathartic.
Yeah.
Somebody that isn't part of the family and just happened to stop by that knows somebody is like, isn't that horrible? They're making jokes, but you're like, no, you don't understand. This is our process.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it's funny because in trying to unite, we are becoming more divided. And
yeah.
There's a problem in the method at this point. There's no problem in the theory.
Right.
The theory is absolutely beautiful and wonderful, but the method has to unite. I'm trying to center myself here because I don't want to be part of the left or right.
Both spiritually and on camera, I noticed.
I just want to be center. And I just think everybody needs to come center. You know, the pendulum needs to swing, right?
Yeah.
And it needs to get stuck up in the corner. But if you leave it up there, you're fucked.
Yeah.
It needs to come down, you know, and rest somewhere in the middle. And you know, we need to find a way to work together, not to be more divided.
Isn't it odd that social media?
The aisles are even further apart now in life.
Isn't it weird that social media was meant to connect people and yet it's driven us farther apart?
Yeah. It really has.
Yeah.
It really
the fact
has.
that like you're
serious radio because all of a sudden, I'm just gonna you could just sit on one station and listen to one thing all day now.
Yeah.
Where we used to get variety. You know, variety is the spice without a doubt of life, and you know, radio used to be programmed to have variety in it, and so was television. But now you can just be stupid and sit on, and I'm not saying the music's stupid, but I'm just going to sit on an AC/DC station all day, or an Elvis station, or a Bruce station, or a blues station. You know, it's better to get a broad stroke of everything.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that also forms your opinions in a way that are one-sided. If you have one thing coming at you all the time, you're going to start believing that. So if you watch Fox News, make sure you watch CNN, but never watch MSNBC.
Yeah. That's good life advice, kids. That's great. Yeah. I gotta ask you, man, how is it being? Because I know we were all locked down, we were doing COVID shit or whatever. Are you finding the audiences are just so? Because the same thing happens to me, man. Where like I feel like they're so ready, they're so much happier. Like
I think it's going to kick live music up a notch again where it needs to be. And people are going to, you know, you don't know what you got till you lose it. And other people have said that over the years, but John put it in a song. And all of a sudden people are like coming. I don't know about young people. I don't think that they know what live music is anymore. Well, some do.
Yeah.
You know, the lines at the discos are bigger than ever, and the clubs, the velvet rope joints. But the older people and the people that love live music are coming out, and I know that there are scenes that I'm not part of that I'm sure live music is in the college world and you know, the indie world and the Brooklyn scene, as we call it.
Yeah.
That's probably thriving again. And
but you got a nice beard now, man. You could pass for the Brooklyn scene. You could go right in there, no problem.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, somebody say, "Hey, man, where'd you get the white dye, man?" That's cool. Billy Gibbons told me, "Man, your beard's getting good, Jimmy. Just don't eat any Cheetos, because you'll have Cheetos in your beard, and you'll be thinking somebody's looking at you, but they're looking at the Cheetos in your beard." Advice from a guy whose beard is orange, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Or he just has a lot of Cheetos.
Could be either way.
You never know.
He kind of looks like that Cheetos cat a bit, you know. So,
Chester Cheeto.
It could be. But I just hope things get back to our old fucked up normal. You know?
Do you miss doing the show, the TV show though? Do you miss doing Conan and stuff?
Well, I mean, I did it for 26 years straight, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when people would ask me, I would say, man, I'm just a blues man with a job, you know. And I came up playing doing all kinds of stuff in life.
Yeah.
We're working on. We got something in the works right now.
Nice.
We don't know what it is.
Right.
So the exciting part is that we get another shot. We just keep doing it a little bit different every time. I'm excited to see what this one might be.
Yeah.
We're still like best of friends, Conan and I, and we work together on a lot of different stuff. So
nice. That's awesome.
You know,
man.
he's a brilliant guy. He's in no way ready to retire, you know.
No, I hope not.
We all feel like we lost 2 or 3 years that we need to grab back anyway.
Yep.
That, you know, don't even add those onto your life because we didn't live, right? Did we?
Yeah.
I mean, was that living? That's
no.
I don't think. Yeah.
How did that first all come about? Like, what was your initial introduction with it?
Me and Max. Well, you know, the E Street Band had broken up. Max and I had a project, Killer Joe. It was called. We made a record together. We used to play live gigs together. And then I had a band with Clarence Clemens, and I moved out to his house in Sausalito, and we were working. And I got a phone call from Max. It was like in 92 or 93, and said, man, you got to come back. We got to put a band together. We got an audition for this guy, Conan, this kid. You know, he's like 25 or 26, whatever he was at the time. And he said, but we don't have a band. So I said, well, let's get some of your guys. And he got Pender and La Bamba from the Jukes. And I grabbed most of my guys from the Vivino brothers band.
Yeah.
That's me and Mike Merritt and Scott Healy.
Right.
You know, we stuck it together. We rehearsed. Max put a brilliant presentation together on an audition we did, and we got the gig.
Wow.
So we started doing it in 1993. Max was there till 2019, around about 16 years, 15, 16 years. You know, we always knew that the divorce of Bruce and his great band was not going to last.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's where everybody was going to end up eventually, because even Bruce must have admitted that, you know, these two, Tunnel of Love and Lucky Town, these two records I made, they're great records and the songs are good and it sounds good, but it ain't that magic of the E Street Band. So
yeah,
he got back together. No, and it's like any Mick Jagger solo album or Beatles solo album, and it isn't as good as the whole band doing stuff.
Right.
So, and then I came off to California and took over. So for another, 7 to 8 years with them, you know.
Yeah.
So it's been a roller coaster. It's been fun. And if I don't do anything else with him, we'll always be friends and always be working together on something.
Nice.
You know, after all these years, and I say I was a blues man with a job, I'm starting to go out and play and do my own thing.
Man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the guys I grew up backing up, like Hubert Sumlin and Johnny Johnson and Otis Rush and all these guys that were coming from Chicago, you know, Sun Seals. I'd get a call from the club and they say, hey man, so-and-so's coming in, put a band together. And we work our ass off knowing their shit, because I learned from Paul Schaefer, make sure you know the records before you back anyby up, like every fucking about it. And so now I'm the old guy. I'm the new old guy. If I go to Boston, I got a rhythm section there. I got a rhythm section in Texas. I got a rhythm section in Florida. I got people in Atlanta, young people I know. You know, I know the sons of friends, you know.
Yeah.
Betts, Devin Allman, sons of people I knew, their fathers and, you know, and uncles, Derek, you know. And so I'm like Uncle Jimmy now, you know. So,
that's great, man.
I got a pretty deep bench of people I can call. And I love playing with different rhythm sections. So
Awesome.
besides taking my own band, I can always say, hey man, get me like a couple of guys, let's go and do this, And I kind of look forward to doing more of that, unless I get another TV show.
Yeah.
And then I'll be man with a job again,
I hope we get to come see you live, man, before you start another TV show. Because that would be fucking amazing. Are you going to come to Jersey?
Yeah. Pardon me, Jersey. Where are you in? You're down in.
I'm in LBI, man, but I go everywhere. I just went to hang out with Jake Clemens at the
Stone Pony.
Stone Pony.
Another example of a kid who's a nephew of one of my dear friends.
Yeah, he's great, man. He fucking crushed that show.
Real talented,
Yeah, he was so good, man. We had him on here. We hit it off, and then I got to hang out with him and see him live, man, and it was amazing. Fucking blew me away.
And also plays guitar and sings and some other stuff,
Oh man, he was the whole thing.
Piano, I play some piano.
He did a couple songs with piano. He did a couple songs with the guitar. Switched over to the saxophone naturally, and just blew the whole roof off the place, man. It was incredible.
Well, I keep threatening to go down with my friend Danny Clinch in Asbury and the Tangiers Blues Band.
Yes, I know Danny. Danny's a good guy.
Danny and Chris and those guys,
You gotta come and do the See Here Now festival in Asbury.
Yeah, I used to do another one. I used to do another one down there on the water too. It was in I can't remember. Yeah, well, what's that? What festival is that in Asbury?
That's currently. I think they've done 3 or 4. I think there should have been 4, but COVID nixed it. But yeah, it's called the See Here Now Festival. I think Pearl Jam and Smashing Pumpkins did it last year, and then the Avett Brothers and a slew of other smaller bands. And then this year it's Stevie Nicks and Green Day, and then another, My Yellow Jacket, a bunch of other great smaller bands are doing it and crushing it, man. It's gonna be good. September.
Well, I'll be on the sideshow stage for that.
I'll see you there.
There's always like that sideshow stage of curiosities of the world. What's this muddy water shit? He's sitting on a chair and playing by himself. I'm fine to be that guy.
I'm gonna make my own festival with blackjack and hookers. It's like right off to the side.
I need gambling there though.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah.
Tom does it for a living.
Go to Atlantic City, or something, but
yeah.
I'm looking into it because I'm actually looking into working again, like on the road, because I love it.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that, aren't you going to retire? I said, I don't fish. I don't golf. I do paint, but that's too slow, so
yeah.
Playing music is my, playing out, going visiting, just getting on the road and going to this town or that town, or week here, week there is my retirement. The world, it has shrunk. We do have these great cruises. I just came off where I met people and from there networked into doing some stuff I never thought I'd be doing, and
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because people keep telling me, because I love going on the road. I still love going on the road to do stand-up, but people keep telling me, wait till you get older, you'll get sick of the road. And I'm like, oh man, don't fucking tell me that. But you love it.
No, I have a band with Mark Maron in LA, right? And,
you guys were at Largo, right?
Yeah, we'll play at Largo. And we were just going the other day. We're like, hey man, things are loosening up. And Mark says, can you do this date? And I'm like, I got to go here. I said, I'm good the next 3. He goes, man, I'm on the road the next 3. I'm doing comedy here. So we're all starting to work again. So unfortunately, some of the things we could do and say, let's do it once a month.
Yeah.
We're fine. The reality of that and juggling our road gigs is becoming a little more difficult, but it's a good sign. You got to give up something to do the thing you really love.
It's always good to be busy.
Yeah. And there's so much to do still. If you just keep moving, you won't get hit.
When did you get into When did you get into when did you get into painting, man? I didn't know you painted.
Well, I got into painting when I was a kid, and and unfortunately I had a great school system that supported me, but they said, well, you can't be an art major and a music major in high school, so I chose music. When I was in high school, I composed an orchestra piece and some big band stuff. And, I had an independent study to write music and to, do arranging compositions and stuff, that didn't allow me time to be in the art class anymore. So I just picked up painting again, like during COVID, and painted a bunch of portraits of blues guys that I loved. And
that's awesome.
I found it very relaxing, but it's still, while I can still play.
Yeah. Do you have a website for all your art?
No. I have a handful of paintings that I love, and
nice.
then I slowed down again because I got into a thing where every morning during COVID I would post a bathrobe blues, and I'd get up and just play a 30-second or 60-second thing, and then found out, I can go longer if I put it on the other YouTube TV. Instagram TV.
Yeah.
And then started doing that every day, and then I started exploring country blues more. And going backwards in my backwards journey through music.
Right.
That's how music took over again. So painting was kind of sidelined, and I got to find a way to do it again. I love doing it, but I never thought of it as anything more than relaxation.
If there was a blues guy, one of your favorites, if there was somebody in that genre that could see you perform live, do you know who you'd want in the audience?
Well, the question should be, who should I want to see that I didn't get to see?
Oh,
to me, who am I? You know what I always say about the blues? I didn't build this house. I rent a room in it,
Right.
This is built by other people,
right?
That I admire. They built this foundation and the house, and they graciously enough let me rent a room in the blues. The real blues.
Yeah.
So yes, if I could have seen Charlie Patton or Son House, Elmore James, people that were dead long before I was even able to go to a club and see them.
Right.
I would love to have known Lightning Hopkins. He was the hippest, coolest guy. He could wear a cardigan sweater and a fedora and smoke a cigarette with a holder, wear hands and just be so fucking cool. One time a producer walked up to Lightning and they brought him in the studio and said, Mr. Hopkins, I'm your producer. He goes, oh yeah, you're my producer? Why don't you produce me a bottle of whiskey? That's a cool dude.
Absolutely.
To his point, produce me, just turn the damn machine on and get the hell out of here. Because it's an organic. There was a guy, like him and Sonny Boy Williamson too, Rice Miller. They were guys. They're true blues, and John Lee Hooker, that didn't write down the lyrics or never did a song the same way twice.
Right.
So it was, you got how they were feeling at that moment, and it only went down the way when they recorded it that one time.
Right.
And they go live, and it would have something else would have happened that day that goes into the song. So it was this actual living. The song was like a living organism that kept changing, morphing every time he did it. Sure, the basic idea was there, but what else happened today?
Right.
And I did. When you don't have to be restricted to 2 or 3 minutes, how long can that song be?
Yeah. I love that you just said that too, because we had a lot of people on here and a lot of musicians who were basically like, they kind of enjoyed making an album during COVID for the simple fact that they didn't have anybody over their shoulder, and they got to create something totally organic and beautiful that wasn't fucking mass produced or touched, that wasn't by somebody who wasn't an artist.
Well, the creativity creeps in madness, you know. There's a fine line of the Van Gogh thing, between insanity and creativity.
Yeah.
And we all were in our own way going fucking nuts, man. I don't care what your job, I don't care what your business was, who you were.
Right.
It's not the arts. You could become creative. All of a sudden, maybe we start reading again, or maybe you could just sit on Turner Classic Movies all day and just
absolutely
and say, you know what? Okay, the world might not have been better, but you could actually understand how the world was in different eras.
I watched an entire documentary on Paramount Studios during the COVID thing on Turner Classic Film. And I was like, I would have never seen this if I was on the road. I was like, I don't know. It was like in the middle, I don't know what time it was on, but I was like, this is great.
No, in all those studios, I mean, the thing was the magical part of walking into Rockefeller Center and working for 16 years, where
Right.
when I was a kid, my buddy Jeff Fenho and I, we were both trumpet players in the big band in high school, and we were like 12, 13. His father, Hal Venho, was the associate producer on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
So we would go up there and watch Doc Severinsen rehearse the big band in the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And even one time Hendrix came on and played with Billy Cox and Ed Shaughnessy because Buddy Miles, I don't know, didn't wake up that day, whatever. So it was like right after Woodstock, and they came in, and and Doc would take us in his office and play the trumpet we were trumpet players, and,
Yeah.
And we go downstairs, where my other friend's Uncle Don worked at the Dunhill cigar place. And then we go for pastrami. It was Rockefeller Center had its own universe, its own city. And so to walk into through those doors and up those elevators to 6A, which was, by the way, the studio that we were in with Conan, was also Letterman's studio, where Paul Schaefer used to have me up just to hang out and watch. But it was also where the Tonight Show was in its last year when I saw it there with my friends. So I was working in the same place.
Wow.
And then to come out to Hollywood and work at Warner Bros. Well, first at Universal for the evil empire of NBC.
Yeah.
And then over to Warner Brothers studio, which was a really warmer place, and be in the same studio that Casablanca and Goonies were both shot in.
Oh man, fucking love Goonies. Yeah, Casablanca, both great.
You just read plaques outside the studios, and you say, what, I'm really kind of, and not only that, out of my office, out the back door. If I went out the back door and looked down towards the commissary, it was the same place where the Burning Man on the back of Wish You Were Here on the Pink Floyd record.
Yeah. Wow. So,
and all that kind of nerdy Hollywood shit, Hollywood is kitsch, that's very much about, about all of that. New York, it's out and out cool,
Right.
But Hollywood, there's so much of that history and weird shit, and things pop up in the weirdest spot in Silver Lake. The Laurel and Hardy stairs are still there. The music box.
Really?
When I went recently, where they try to move the piano up there, the same stairs are there. You walk up those stairs, it's like walking up the stairs at Abbey Road to the control room.
I had
a shit, man.
Yeah. I had a network meeting at the at Henson Studios, and at the time when I was going in there, one of the studio execs that was walking me around was like, "This used to be the old Charlie Chaplin studio."
That's right. He built that studio.
He built it. It was fucking, and they still have like a nice tribute there to him and stuff. It was surreal, man. It was weird.
Yeah, and before Henson bought it, it was A&M Records.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah, so I would go there for meetings at A&M, and it was so cool the way it worked. It was different than any studio.
I'll tell you right now, my meeting ended, and I didn't leave. My when your meeting ends, you're supposed to walk out to your car. I did not fucking leave. I'm like, I walked around, man. I took myself on a tour.
There's ghosts, man. When you go into the Grand Ole Opry, notes went up into the ceiling, and they're still hanging around. And the same with Levon's barn. When I used to work with Levon at his barn, man, and think about the notes that went up there, or you go to La Scala Opera House, or you go to Carnegie Hall, anything that's got wood in it,
Oh yeah.
The shit. Wood is a natural acoustic thing that maintains vibrations.
Yeah, anything that creaks.
Everything's a cathedral that's like that, to me.
Yeah.
You go to Sun Studios and they say, here's where Elvis stood, and you stand there. Something happens.
Yeah.
Something happens for you. You immediately want a peanut butter and banana sandwich when you stand and bacon. Those three things.
Oh God, dude, this is fucking great, man. Listen, I gotta wrap, but I gotta ask you the main 3 questions that we ask every guest.
Okay.
All right. So first question is, if you can go back in time and talk to your younger self, what piece of advice would you give yourself to help you today?
Don't wash your hair so much. You might keep it.
Noted. I didn't know that. The second question is, what had to end in your life, good or bad, that led you to where you are today?
What ended?
Yeah, what had to end?
Probably my first marriage.
Wow.
Unfortunately, and I still love her. We still love each other.
Right.
But we knew that we couldn't be with each other.
Yeah. And that's always the healthiest thing, though. Like, if you can still love the person, that you can just be like, look, I got to walk away.
Sting said it set them free, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah.
I never listened to Sting. I should have listened to him. Or maybe I did listen to him.
So wait, do you want to change the first question to go back in time and talk to Sting?
I've done it. Go ahead.
You're like, next.
He's the smartest guy in the room. There's no him and Donald Fagen are the smartest guy in the room.
Oh, Donald,
go ahead.
Nice. And the other question is, we got Stuart Copeland on in a week, by the way, so I'm going to ask him about any wisdom from Sting. No, I won't do that.
Stuart's brilliant too. You know, I worked for Stuart's family for IRS Records.
Oh,
you
nice.
know, his brother Miles was the head of the record company
that
I worked for. Yeah, I think their father seriously was like a CIA guy, like some
Holy
sort
shit.
of covert. Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Oh, man. Should I ask him about that or no? You're like, don't ask. Yeah,
well, you
I will.
should. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Well, yeah.
And third question is, it ties into the show. So, if this was a genuine dystopia, if there were like alien zombies, volcanoes going off, comet headed toward Earth, how would Jimmy Vivino want to go out? What would be your epic death?
I've been waiting for the aliens to come and take me back. You know?
Great. Yeah.
I truly believe in the alien ant farm theory, and that they're saying, okay, look, they fucked up again. Somebody go down there and would you adjust something, you know? And they do.
It's close.
This is for millions of years, right?
Right.
And that it is ourselves coming back, looking at ourselves saying, maybe if we fix it now, that won't happen. But
Yeah,
you know the whole thing about that theory that you can't fuck with shit because it's just going to fuck up something else.
Yeah,
that's
butterfly
what
effect.
We live with. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what
That's what I think those fucking.
Yeah.
That's what I think those fucking Tic Tacs are that the airplanes keep seeing, man. I just think it's us.
You know what? I truly believe there's something to it that we are sort of, you know, like it's sort of a independent study, or it's a thesis for their college. Okay, now you're gonna go back down and check out 1982 and see why things fucked up, you know. And if you take one with you, examine them, but throw them back. You know?
Yeah. It's a catch and release program we have on Earth.
Exactly, and tag them like we do with animals in the wild. You know,
it's all birthmarks are just tags from aliens.
People that actually swear that they got like implants and shit. You know.
Yeah, man.
So
yeah.
Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid did.
Look. I believe it as much as I disbelieve it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's great.
Anything's possible except what's fucking happening. You know?
I love that, man. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. It's been a blast, man, and I love your show, The Green Room. It's amazing.
Okay, man. Everybody stay safe if you can.
Yes,
you too,
will do,
man.
Dystopia Tonight.